All right. I think the countdown makes it all the way live tonight. Welcome to the GG Factory here, man. I'm going to tell you something. I'm always excited, but tonight, man, I'm super excited because I got someone in the house that used to be a student of mine. Juan, how you doing, man? What's up?
I'm doing great, my man. It's such an honor to be on your program. So excited.
No doubt, it's an honor for me to have you because you are truly a story of resilience. You are truly a story of tenacity and against all odds, man. I put in my description about you tonight. Against all odds, man, you showing that, yes, I can, yes, I will, yes, I must. So welcome, man, to the GG Factory tonight. I'm sure you're going to inspire our viewers, our listeners. I'm sure you will empower them because your story really matters. And I always say this, Juan, everybody's story matters, no matter who you are. So with that said, man, I'm just going to make it very formal. You know, I always say once the music stops, hey, the party begins. And I think that's official. I just cut it out. Once again, I just want to say welcome Juan Morales here tonight. And I'm going to do something I don't normally do with most of my guests. I just kind of wing it. And I know things about, but Juan, the first paragraph of your biography, man, your thing that you do, how you've been doing it, I think is very just imperative that I just read it verbatim. So I'm going to say Juan Morales is with me tonight, but listen to this. You know, and this is absolutely, man, very interesting because I told you, he's got a lot of stuff here, man. I said, I had seen him in about, probably a good maybe 10 years, you know, right, Juan? It's been about that. I've seen you for quite some time.
About that time, yes.
Yeah. I can remember right around the corner because we live in the same neighborhood. I was right there at your house, and we had a nice little meeting together. I remember that like yesterday, and you know, and I hadn't seen you since then. I know your father's made his transition since then, but mom's still in the house. But you know something? We know we get that appointment. We can't reschedule the ones when God calls, but God's giving you something to do, and I'm so proud of you, man. So I'm going to read your biography and let people know what's going on. You see, what is routinely ordinary to Juan Carlos Morales is extraordinary to others, as he conquers everyday life from a wheelchair with unstoppable faith, courage, and purpose. He's been diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy, excuse me, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I just said SMA at the age of 2 years old. Juan has navigated life on wheels ever since the age of his 12th birthday, and doctor told him this. He said, work on just saying this. Working out won't help you, he said. I want to make sure I say this right. He tried to discourage this young man to not believe that he can go beyond what appears to be his physical limits. He said, working out won't help you, Juan. He said, don't worry about exercising. Just stay home, Juan. Learn how to use a PC, Juan, and enjoy what's left of your life just surfing the internet. But my friends, my man became what the title of his book is, Rebel, a rebel in a wheelchair. And he said that it's not going to stop me. And he went right along to do his thing, man, and refusing to accept limitations. He committed himself to live as an active, purposeful, and vibrant life, should I say, that we all should be able to recognize and live his life as vibrant as possible. So I want to make it official now. Welcome to the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. My man that's got a story to tell to you, Juan Morales. And I always start typically after a bio like that. What is your why? What is your WHY, Mr. Morales?
My why is why not? Why not? I feel that when you're born with a disability, and in my case, physical disability, the world expects you to not do certain things or not have the capacity to do certain things. And I chose to prove them wrong. And this applies to all areas of life. But before going on, Professor, I want to let you know and everybody that I really admire you. And it's an honor to be on your program. This is, I'm very grateful and I'm blessed to be here and happy to share my story.
Well, you know something? I want to say this to you, man. I want to say it right back at you. I want to say this to you because you are truly, as I said earlier, my friend, you are an unbelievable story of tenacity and the audacity to work in the capacity. I call it the tag mentality. And Juan, if anybody can exhibit it and say that against all odds, and I always say this, but I'm saying earlier in this show, Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible, Juan, until you get it done. And my friend,
that's true.
without a shadow of a doubt, I know right now that you've gotten it done, man. And thank you for saying that for me. My wife, Miss Miriam Abisu Griffith, was Miss
Yes.
Abisu back then at Flanagan High School. What year did you graduate from Flanagan? I couldn't
Uh,
remember that.
In 2002. So it's been a minute, but I still remember your class like it was yesterday.
It's only
You were the only class out of the whole high school that pushed us to really think about the future, think about unlimited potential, and tap into it. And I'm happy that you and your wife, because your wife is an angel in my life as well. And I feel that both of you are a power couple, and it's really an honor to have learned so much from both of you.
Well, I want to say this to you. That means a lot to me because I've always told people, and I speak this sincerely, teachers have never made a fortune in their lives, but they've always made a difference. And when I hear someone speak and quantify the difference that I made in their lives, I'm honored, sir. When I was calling you the little kid Juan, I could say Mr. Morales now. And I say that with all due respect to you. This man has a master's degree in psychologist. He's been to FI University. I'm not going to sit here and read all of his accolades. We're going to talk about them as we move through the show tonight. But against all odds, since we're talking about Flanagan High School, we might as well start with all of the good. You can tell us if you like about some of the bad, but we all know that you went through a whole lot, even in high school. You made some decisions that weren't the best. You lived through them. They gave you that tenacity that you got right now in you because you did to take what? You decided to take, that 360. So tell us about your transition. Why from high school? Why did you decide psychology? How and why FIU, and just tell us a little bit about the evolution of the Juan Morales story.
Yes, by all means. I want to point out that even though I did deviate during my adolescent years, I do come from a very loving family. My mother and father, they always set a great example for me, and I was always surrounded by love.
Yes.
And they would always inspire me to believe that I could do anything I put my mind to. But there was that moment when I was 12 years old that a doctor, he shattered my dreams for a minute when he said, and you read it in the first part of today's show, that I shouldn't even worry about exercising because my life was not going to be that long anyways. I should just learn how to enjoy life on the internet. That's when at first I got depressed, sad. Then it turned into frustration, rage, anger. And that anger made me think, what could I accomplish in a short amount of time? If it's not college, if it's not a career, what could I do? And I realized it was try to be popular, try to fit in with the in crowd. And that meant dropping out of the chess club, where most of the chess players were not a part of the popular crowd, and trying to find ways to act popular, speak popular, and finally become popular. So,
you know what, Juan, I always say where I feel I definitely spontaneously need to interject for necessary purposes is pertinent. Let me stop you for a second. See, you're speaking, and we're going to narrow that all down to peer group pressure was right after you, poking at you. Peer group pressure was trying to tell you, hey, do this, not that, if you want to fit in, to get in with the crowd and do what they were doing. And it sounds to me like obviously you did stray off the course, because when you said the chess club, you're right. They usually would associate that with geeky little, nerdy little kids and stuff. But you know something, man? At the end of the day, there are no coincidences. Whatever you did, whatever you've done, it was all just a stepping stone to where you are right now. So I know that you're saying that, yes, I got caught up in what I needed to do to be with the in crowd. So continue. But I want to say that to all of our viewers and listeners right now. Every now and then, we all will have to be reminded that, you know something, all those things that glitter, they're not always glamour. And you know, Juan, it sounded like you took an opportunity like that. But the one thing I want to piggyback off that you said, you were very, very honorable when you said something that's truly a game changer about a lot of people. You spoke about the role models in your life. You spoke about your parents who never ever stopped believing in you, who didn't even buy into that negative narrative of you as a 12-year-old. So I didn't want to just stop you abruptly, but I just want to make sure I'm hearing you right, that now you're explaining, because see, when someone tells me they did this versus that, big difference. So continue for me, my friend, because that is so important. What you just quantified to us what your reason was, which, you know, in reality, you're an example why that's not the right way to go. So continue, my friend.
That is true. And thank you for pointing that out as well, that even though my parents always set the right example, I went through a period of deviation from that as I was in the growing process and trying to learn which would be my way. But also, I now realize that even that period, just as you said, everything that we go through, it serves a reason. It serves a higher purpose. And I'm now able to use that in what I do in my current life. You know, what I practice with at-risk teenagers and people that actually need somebody that has been there, has done that, and was able to find a way out. So what happened back then, I realized the popular ones were not just the ones that were able to pick up the hot girls and spit game, but also the drug dealers and the gangsters. So I decided to start going to parties, affiliating with them, and finding out also where they would buy their product, their marijuana. And I got involved in the drug distribution. And then, what I did, I wasn't in it for monetary reasons. So I would very, very low prices. I just wanted the popularity from it. I wanted to be known. And soon enough, when I was in the 11th grade, yes, I was already part of the in crowd, but I came to notice that I was destroying the people that I love most. My mom, my dad, especially when they got the phone call that I had been caught. I was selling drugs, and now I was up for sentencing in front of a judge.
You know something? I got to stop you right there, because that's where, you know, and I'm not thinking about it tonight. You know something? My wife should have been on the show with us. We didn't even, neither one of us thought about that, because she was such an instrumental part of that, what I call pivot in life for you. Because hadn't she intervened and went to the principal of the high school and said, "You're making a mistake. Please don't press charges against him. He's just a young man that's been strayed away from the reality of where he should be," because we know, Juan, where your cognitive abilities have always been. And now that you put it out there, I'm hoping that it's one of those wake-up calls to people who will stray off the course. Believe me, I have 2 sons. And both of them, I've had to have the same conversation with in my lifetime as a parent to them. And guess what? It was during the times when they were in high school also. I remember that. And all I can say to you is that I'm sure your mom, I'm sure your dad were an integral part of that. But my wife, who was my fiance back then, and we were working together, she just made it very clear. She stepped in and said, "Please, don't do this to Juan. He needs an opportunity to do what? Grow from the experience." So that leads me to a question that I have here that I want you to just tell us the moment that became your turning point. Let's just say now you got past that for the sake of time. You moved past that. You had that experience. You realized that That quick dollar was poisoning the environment. That quick dollar was a road to a dead end. That quick dollar was illegal. That quick dollar was one of those stagnating points in your life that, once again, and you heard me say it, that was by no coincidence, because you would live to tell against all odds. And here you are right now, you're doing that. But I really want to know, when you got past that, what was that the turning point? What was the turning point that you could say that you decided to leave that world and just really, should I say, embark on the journey that's led you to be a licensed mental health counselor, have a master's degree, graduate over there at FIU, start the program that I was reading about that you started, was called the
Rebel Souls. Oh, yes, youth developmental projects. Yes.
What was the turning point? Let me know. I don't want to get away. I want to stay right where I'm at. What was your turning point?
Well, when I was in front of the judge, and before I forget, I want to give a shout out to your wife, Miss Miriam Arvesu, and as we all know her, Miss Maru. She was an individual in my life and really saved me from being fully expelled.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I owe her the world. And my turning point was when I was in front of a judge waiting for my sentencing, and I looked over to the left and I saw my mom and dad, and I realized everything that they had done for me. Mm-hmm. They had given up their dreams, their aspirations, just so that I could have a life as normal as possible. They never wanted me to feel the disability or feel that I wasn't able to accomplish what I put my mind to. They inspired me to believe in myself. And here I was paying them back with pain, suffering, and in front of a judge waiting for my sentencing. So at that point, I didn't really care how bad the sentencing was going to be. But what I did care about was how could I repay my parents for all the good that they had done for me, and how could I live all the extra days that I have of life helping people or doing good, building instead of destroying. And here I am. I'm 41 years old. So I really did not have a short life. I'm still alive. And,
no doubt.
No doubt.
Yes, sir.
I want other people to know that even if you only have one day to live, use that day to touch hearts and cause a positive chain reaction in the world. Make that difference. All you need is 24 hours to make that difference.
Well, listen, I want to say this to you, man. What you said was so compelling. You say you looked over at your parents, and whoever would have imagined that the distraction or the thing that could have destroyed you in your life had nothing to do with your disability, Juan. It had nothing to do with it at all. It was, once again, that peer group pressure, that wanting to feel that you were part of it because you felt deprivation. You know, I'm working on another book right now, man, that's all about what I felt was my deprivation that became my motivation. And I see right now, interestingly enough, at the age of 12, when the doctor told you, man, you won't amount to nothing, give it up, you didn't. You did not do that. And you went right along with your life and decided that I'm going to rebel against that. Now, like I said, every now and then we'll get a curveball. Something will happen. Now, you wrote a book. You're an author. It's called Rebel in a Wheelchair. And, you know, we have one in the house, and we couldn't find it. I meant to kind of even go around the corner and get one. Do you have one sitting there by you anywhere at all?
Yes, and I'm willing also to give out two books, 2 copies during this program for the first 2 people that comment or share the program. So guys, go ahead and comment and share this program on your social media, and we're giving away 2 books. Yeah.
Tell you what, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, And we're live on LinkedIn. So someone listening to us right now, let's see what happens with that. But the reason why I did that was why the book? What made you feel that, I know the answer why I wrote the 2 books I have. One of them right behind me here, Activator Stagnated, and the other one, matter of fact, I might as well, before we even go any further, just do an unconditional plug. Both of my books, I want to say to you, were inspiration to me about my life story. And I can say this to anyone, that your story matters. I don't care who you are. I don't care what ethnic background, what financial position you've been in, what matter of lack you've experienced, or saying deprivation. You don't think it matters. Your deprivation has always been a motivation to say that your story matters. These are my 2 books, the one behind me, Activated, Stagnated, and this one. And I'm here to tell you this now. I can tell you why I wrote my books. And I will also tell people that, because I didn't realize, man, we're already about 20 minutes into this, and we need to acknowledge something. Here's the point I want to make to you, is that I feel without a doubt that all of us, even people with limitations and disabilities and all kind of things going on with them, still have a mind, body, and spirit that they can always nurture and take to the next level. You, my friend, are an example of that. They said at 12 years old, I don't even know what kind of life expectancy they gave you on, but the fact that you rejected it. The fact that life threw you a curveball, because see, the enemy will always get in our head, obviously, and stray us off the course. And you know something? Those life lessons are beyond no one. You can ask Bruno Mars. You can ask some of the greatest people who are out there who've had their bout with their highs and lows. Ask Simone Biles, their highs and lows. A lot of it mental, a lot of it physical, a lot of it could be just a lack of all of the above. But the bottom line is this: your story matters, Juan. You endure through it. I feel the same way about my story. I remember when I couldn't run a mile. I'm holding up right now one of my 25 medals as a marathoner. And I remember how much the enemy was trying to win the game. And you know what? Speaking of Flanagan High School, I started coaching cross country there. So my plug tonight is that I have both of my links in the comments. I want to get people to be an example of a Juan Morales. Someone who can get into my Get Activated community, come into my Get Activated community, and activate a winner's mindset. I'm on a 30, 60, 90-day mission right now. I started it back in June, but I want everyone to know that wherever you are, that's not where it's supposed to end up. And Juan, if there's anyone who's an example of that, man, you are. My wife's standing there. She's asking a question. Now, she's trying to ask me about something that I'll get to, but I want to stay where I am in this moment, that I want people to understand. Sometimes you need a mentor. Juan, I know you've had some. I know you probably still do. You even recognize me as a mentor even through your high school days. But somehow, some kind of way, man, even though you're straight off the course, your case study still reveals that was by no coincidence. You do realize that you went through all of that for a reason, Juan. So my wife was just asking me to make sure, now that I've given a plug about my program, my link is right there in the chat. If you missed the link, you can go to, right as it says on the screen there, theactivator.net is my website. And you can go there and click on Get Activated Community, or you can click on 30 Days to a New You, MPC, which is my maximum potential coaching opportunity, because I really want to be the same thing that you're being right now, an example that you can take your life to the next level. You still can define yourself. It's not too late to do that. You can still activate your true identity. I'm fresh back, man, from Florida Gulf Coast University. Yes. And let me tell you something, to see the young minds yesterday, to be to have a talk with them in that classroom. I always keep saying keynote, but it wasn't a big giant room. It was a very intimate, conversation with the mental health services department for Florida Gulf Coast University. And let me tell you something, all of those kids were seniors. They were all studying to become PTs, physical therapists, people I'm sure you've had a lot of experience with over the years through school. And I told them the same thing I'm going to say to you. Some of my best friends and associates and colleagues were the physical therapists, because they love their job so much. And I could tell by every one of those kids yesterday, man, that they were fired up to be graduates coming up in the springtime next year. And let me tell you something, I'm not tooting my whistle. Boy, we had a great time. and it was phenomenal. So enough about me plugging my program or plugging what I'm doing. I just want people to know that you're on the right path to mental health. I know you also started a program, but my way putting the sticky down, I'm gonna hold it up. Why the book, man? Why did you write your book? Tell us that story. What brought about that idea of saying, well, I want to be an author?
Well, I would always remember what you said, that we would be able to use what we went through in life later on. It's all instruments, it's all tools that will serve a higher purpose once we learn how to channel it. You said that back then in high school, and you've said it throughout the years, and it rang a bell where I didn't want to just put everything under a rug and pretend that it didn't happen. When I knew that there was a lot of life lessons to be learned and a lot of pain and suffering that could be avoided in other families and in other at-risk youth if they were able to read about the lesson instead of going through all the pain. And I also realized that there's more to life than being popular and being like fitting in with the in crowd, because
Right.
all that doesn't really end well. It always either ends in prison, it ends with a lot of loved ones hurt, and some people even end up dead. So I'm happy to have put the story in writing in the book, and I've also in therapy, when I'm counseling others, one of the recommendations for a therapist is to not share your personal story, to be a blank slate. And for me, I always felt that it was the opposite. For me, I felt that when I shared my story, it helped the client. It helped the client relate. It helped them feel that the therapist is also human. We're not perfect, and we made mistakes, and we grew from them. We learned from them. So that's why I chose to write the book as a way of self help, and to serve others as therapy, especially for those that might not be able to have therapy in person or virtual. They have the book that serves a therapeutic purpose.
So your book, is it on Amazon.com? Where can you get your book right now? Go ahead, give a little shout out real quickly since we're talking about your book, Rebel in a Wheelchair, Juan Morales. Where is that book available as we speak?
That book is on Amazon.com.
Okay.
It's you type Juan Morales, Rebel in a Wheelchair, and for people that speak Spanish, Juan Morales, Rebelde en una silla de ruedas. It's in both languages. Yes.
Okay, you just did something. I'm gonna segue away from it. Now here's something I didn't know about you because I never saw that side of you coming up. Maru tells me, and then when I saw your bio, that it says here, Juan's love for music became his first form of rebellion and empowerment. At the age of 19, he recorded his first album. So kapow! I mean, hold
Yes.
on, man. I'm a musician. You know that.
Yes.
I mean, I was over there yesterday speaking as a guy, as an author, a speaker, an empowerment specialist. But guess what? I also had a performance over in Naples yesterday also. So that's why I
Wow.
told you I would have been out of the loop for the entire day because I was really busy with my intellectual properties. And that's what I want to bring right now to the forefront for everyone watching. What were you a rapper? Were you a singer? Were you a musician? What was your area of expertise as a musician? And when I never knew that you were even in the world of music. Talk to us about that, man.
Yeah, it's my passion also, and it will always be. It'll always be in my blood. And I once told myself that if I could find the time to record at least one song per year for therapeutic purposes, I'd do it because I love music, and I remember that's always been one of your passions as well. I'm a
Yes.
rapper. I'm a rapper, and I I made a song also for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, trying to find a cure. I would say it's not a problem. We're going to find it. There's no cure. We're going to find it. There's no cure. We're going to find it. There's no cure. I'm going to do it my way. Do it my way. And I'll post it later in the comment section as well.
Nice, man. So your entire project was a rap project, hip hop, then, right?
Hip hop, R&B as well. I would collaborate with other R&B artists, and I would do like the rap of the track, but I would write the whole song. So I'm a composer as well.
So you got your producers, you got some guys, got some beats together, and you slapped some rap on top of that, and it became your project. Am I correct?
That's right. Yes.
Wow, man. You know something? One day you and I get a minute. I can't promise you when because of my crazy schedule, but I want to hear some of that stuff. I really would like to just take a minute, put my ear on it, and say to you, man, that that's an intellectual property that would never die. She brought over my books here, and I was only the one, and I guess she wanted me to put both of them up. When I say to people and I hold these books up like this, man, and I put them up, I'm not bragging. I'm saying that same rap project, these same books, they are intellectual properties, man. No one can take them from you like my 25 medals. So you got that, man. And if it's been recorded and you're still around, come on, Juan. You got to rehatch that, put it back out there. And listen, are you working on another book, or is something in the works for you? Because you know something. The reason why I asked that question is simple. I'll get you to elaborate. Every stage of life offers an opportunity for growth. What I learned at 16 versus 26, what I got at 36, what I got at 46. And guess what, man? My birthday Tuesday, a week from today, I'll be 71 years old, man. And I don't think about it. I don't feel it. The only time I even think about my age of if I go home and see my son or go see my granddaughter or something. But other than that, man, I feel that people live from a mind, body, and spirit perspective and find the balance that everything can and everything will be all right. Because one thing that I've learned, and I have to share that because it's relevant to this conversation tonight. When you live with that imbalanced mind and you know it's organized chaos. And it sounded to me you had a period of organized chaos. It beat you down for a minute, man. But you know what I'm proud to say? And that's why I introduced you the way I did, man. You've exhibited the tenacity and the audacity to function in the capacity. I call it a TAC mindset, TAC, tenacity, audacity, and the capacity. And you know something? I think whatever happened inside of you, and I want you to be sincere with me, was it a spiritual moment that you had? Was it not just the fact that you looked over at your mom and dad, but do you feel from that you grew spiritually?
Yes, I feel that everybody that's able to fulfill a higher purpose long term has to have that spiritual connection to survive all the trials and tribulations that come with it. Otherwise, it won't last. Boy. If you don't have that connection, it won't last. I went from a moment.
You got it, man. You said it right. Well, Maru, I can't reach the cap. You may need to bring it to me because he just segued into the part of this that will take just a couple of minutes, Miriam. If you'll bring me that God first hat over here.
God first.
Listen to me, man. I had to ask you that question because it was truly by the grace of God that you made it through that. Mm-hmm. You know something? I'm going to say this to you with all due respect. I'm going to say this to you. When I put this hat on, I'll probably keep it on or I'll take it off, whatever happens. Here's the point I want to make, man. When I understood this, that God's first, things really continue to change more and more and more. Oh, yeah, the enemy pulled me away from this, and I got out there into the ways of the world, but God kept pulling me back. And I continue to pray every day. Take me, guide me, direct me. And I want to say this to you, man. I had to ask you that question because truly it was only by the grace of God that you didn't even go to jail in high school when my wife stopped the principal from having them take you away and give you some time. You and I both know that. And I'm going to tell you something. Yeah. That was your true turning point because at that moment, I always say she's my wife, but she's an angel. There are people who are like, case studies beyond. I could even tell you now how Maru has intervened and then something happens. And the same way with you, man. So I'm saying to you, you found the pivot. It took you to where you needed to go. And I want to say to you, man, please keep God first because God got big plans for you. Your days are not even nowhere near over as far as I'm concerned, because from what I'm seeing here, you know, let's talk about it because we're talking about music right now. We might as well. You also had you were the host of your own radio show, right? I think it was,
true.
you know, I know I can't speak the name in Spanish. It just in English,
Rebel
Souls, right?
Yes, Rebel Souls. And you know, before we change the topic of music, you would be very happy to know that even within the group therapy sessions, I was able to come up with a prayer in the form of a rap that you would do, and the clients would all hold hands as this rap would come on. I can share a little bit with you right now that we're live. It said, "This rap is not a rap. It's a prayer for my dogs, our Regis House soldiers. I love all of y'all. Then to see y'all doing time, we family, and that is a forever bloodline. I pray that George never slips and the line don't get caught smoking that shit. I pray that Ricardo never steal. And when temptation presents itself, Crystal, you better keep it real. I pray Vincent don't get shot. And when Five stops a fight, Ulysses ain't the one that fought. I pray that y'all hear me rapping and that Christian remembers to strap it before he tap it. I pray that a line don't. That's a sample right there. It's a pretty long rap, so I'm going to do the whole song.
But listen, I know for the sake of time, I want to stop you right there because you say strap it before you tap it, and I understand where you're coming from with that. But you also need to know, man, you speak in truth. And once again, that's your intellectual property. It may be, I don't know, what year was that you did that? What year was it? You were 19 years old? So that was around 2003 or 2004 or something like that?
So I was already a mental health counselor during this year. So this was 2013.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So well, I know
I was
it says at the age of 19, you recorded your first album. Now I don't know.
The album, yes. Yeah. The album, yes, 19. But the group therapy rap was at 25.
Got you, man. So speaking of now that was the age at the age of 25.
The group therapy rap, yes.
Wow. So listen, man, this is why I wanted to have you on the show, because you know you're there. You living with this SMA disability that someone told you couldn't make it. You know, you told me what your turning point was when you looked over at your mom and your dad. You know, you also mentioned that you had to do what? You had to remember to put God first. And you know something? Man, Michelle Obama said it. And I always remind people every week when I come on this show, when I tell them, man, don't you ever think that your story don't matter. And I'm so glad, Juan, that against all odds, that you continue to believe that there was something you can do and share. And everything I'm looking at right here, man, you know, I know why you were motivated to really help other youth, because nobody really intervened with you when you left your mom and dad's house. And guess what? I was the same way. I never met my father until I was 50 years old. So then my brother went away to college and went on with his life. He was always, and still is, was the male mentor. So can you share with me? You've already told me that I was the kind of guy that you enjoyed coming to my class because you were so inspired by the things that I shared with you that were for about post-school adult living. They weren't just about the academia and what you were getting at Flanagan High School. And it sounded to me like you're anchored. And I'm just honored that you would say that about me, man. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for just sharing on a very micromanageable level. You're really breaking this thing right down to where it's been. You talked about the Rebel Souls, the show. You talked about your music right here. You talked about the idea that I'm looking right here back in 2012, you know, you served as a clinical therapist at the Regis House.
Yes.
You know, talk to me about that, man. I mean, you know, that's a pretty intense should I say, had you already went through your licensed mental health counseling at that point that you could get that position as a clinical therapist?
I was doing my intern hours at first. I want to also use that example because at first I had trouble finding a job. You know, sometimes when you have a disability, you have to first show what you're capable of. So I always tell people, have no fear, volunteer,
Mm.
and that's what
Wait a minute.
happened.
Hold on. Can you repeat that a little louder and clear? Let me hear that. Have no fear. What did you say, Juan?
Have no fear, volunteer.
Okay.
Volunteer, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Oh man. Have no fear, volunteer. Now
volunteer,
you know
my
something. You know, when you left the school some years later, I don't know if you remember, I don't even think they had the PASS program at the time that you were there at Flanagan. It's the Post Alternative Secondary Schools program. And you know what it's for? Kids with special needs, kids with disabilities who are given the opportunity to do exactly what you said. They go out, they were volunteering in the workplace. And if they did it long enough and they were qualified with the skill sets enough, people like Dunkin' Donuts, Marshalls, Ross, you name it, man. There were people giving them jobs, McDonald's, Publix, Wendy's. These and honestly, a lot of that started. It's so interesting, man. I'm so glad you shared that because they did have to go out and prove themselves. Because you know something that's real, and it's so sad, but it's reality. Everybody who knocks on the door trying to get it and be an advocate for the disabled, are not always welcome. You know that. 1 out of 20 people allowed me to come in, and my job was this, man, for 6 years, 6 to 7 years. And I can't remember now. At Flanagan, I went in the community every day after school, man, and look for jobs for our kids. And it made me feel so proud. I could go to the Publix around the corner right now. And Terry, who was you and Terry Williams might have been back doing your time because Terry is about 38 or 39. So he was at Flanagan when you were there. You know, so
yeah.
the fact that he's still at Publix, he's still doing his thing. He's been allowed to be in that position. He's comfortable with it. It gives him his level of self-esteem. It puts money in his pocket. He jumps on his bicycle and rides to work up there. He's got a thriving environment with his parents. So, man, thank you for sharing that you said that this opportunity through Regis House opened a lot of doors for you. There's so much going on with you, man. The other thing I got to ask you about, because there are things I got to ask, because like I told you, gave me such a smorgasbord of things here. When you said that your mission was to transform pain into power, you said, I read that here and it just resonated with me. You said you went on to, you got your master's degree there in counseling and psychology. And you said that my mission will always be that I want to transform pain into power. And I can always say to anyone, why did you have that your mantra? What made you feel like, okay, I got my master's degree, I got my, my certification in psychology. What was the reason behind that slogan, transform pain into power?
I mean, we could even use the volunteering as an example. The pain of not being able to find a paid job position. I have various examples like that. When I started with the radio show, Rebel Souls, shout out goes out to the presidents, Martin Orozco, Claudia Muñetón. They opened the doors for me to have that radio show with my co-host, Karina Lambertini, which is also my MDA sister from another mister. So shout out goes out to her.
Okay.
But that show, it was free. I wasn't being paid for it. But thanks to that show, to putting the effort and transmitting once a week and showing that I know also how to speak Spanish, an opportunity with PTC Therapeutics opened up where we were in charge of doing Spanish webinars and then English webinars as well. We came up with a series of webinars called My Way Fridays, and instilling interactions. And it was an honor to get involved in that, and getting paid for it. Getting paid. So thanks to the radio, that opened up. And then Regis House, I was first invited as a motivational speaker. Then they asked me to come back for the group therapy as a way of motivating the at-risk youth. It still wasn't a paid position, but after 3 months in, the president of Regis House said, "Hey, we had to pay you, man. What you're offering here is exactly what we need."
I love it. I love it, Juan.
Yeah.
I got to stop right here and say something to you that's so powerful. Relationships will always be the new currency. There's a book called Shift Your Brilliance. I always give it an unconditional plug, and it's so relevant to this conversation. The guy's name is Simon T. Bailey. You might want to even make a note of that. His book is called Shift Your Brilliance, and he spoke so clearly. I went to see him through one of my mentors, or Robert Lemon, man, who's a reverend and also a speaker and an author out there doing his thing. And I went to one of his inspirational or motivational workshops, and that's when I personally met Simon T. Bailey and his kids. And that man, who's an executive from Disney, said, "Let me tell you something. The most important thing you could ever do is develop relationships." And Juan, what you just said, from you just volunteering, just coming in and just doing what you're doing, like you said, man, at the end of the day, kapaya, things opened up, opportunities presented themselves. And you know something, man? Kind of funny we're talking about this because we all know everybody who starts out shooting the basketball, they're getting paid. They may aspire to get paid, but you know something? I don't think nobody ever blurred the vision of, say, LeBron James when he wasn't getting paid, but he was putting in the work. I don't think they stopped Simone Biles when she was putting in the work. And they couldn't stop you, Juan Morales, because you continue. And they finally had to say, "What? Stop, sir. We got to what? Compensate you, because we do live in what? A society of what? Elasticity of supply and demand. Is called money, money, money." So at the end of the day, man, look, you've got it. Now that takes me forward to where you are at now. How did this relationship come about with face-to-face mental health? You've been there since I see in your bio. You've only been there for a few months now, I think, right? So how did that come about? We're gonna, because I didn't realize, man, I'm already 45 minutes in, but you're not even thinking about it. And I definitely want to make one more plug out for the show that we're going to be doing on Thursday night. I might as well make an unconditional plug right now. On Thursday nights, come out to my Strive Masterclass. Now, I might have my man to pop in again, and if he wants to have his book still available then and talk about it for a few minutes, maybe I'll give you the turf for a couple of minutes about what we talked about tonight, Juan, and we'll do that. But he was there last week, and everyone knows, let me tell you something, man. If you strive with big pride for the grand prize of success in your life and mind, body, and spirit, sky's the limit. Les Brown said it. Shoot for the moon, you'll land them on the stars, because it's crowded down here on the bottom. It's crowded down here. And Juan, you have already said that I want my place among the stars. And I use big-time people like LeBron James and Tiger Woods and Simone Biles, but you know what? Everybody got a star that can shine. We all don't vibrate with the same light of, brightness, but we all got a light that can shine, man. And people always ask me a lot of times, "Oh, man, why didn't you just stay in music full time?" And I had to take my pivot just like you, because I was on a roller coaster. I have 2 sons and a beautiful granddaughter. Let me tell you something. I do not regret it, because, man, one of the most gratifying things any human person on this planet can do is be of a humanitarian cause. And Juan Morales, I'm going to say this to you tonight. I applaud you. I thank you so very much for being with us on the show tonight, man. I think I looked over everything I could even imagine talking to you about. We talked about your book. You said you got another book coming up. You talked about things that I think resonate with people from the position of, I'm sure you know who Best Buddies is, obviously.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. This time last year, it was only about maybe a week or two before I was a keynote speaker for the gala. And against all odds, all of those sessions that I did any and everything I could for Best Buddies, because let me tell you something. That's another organization that makes me think about someone like you, man, that you keep plugging, you keep doing what you're doing. I don't know if you have a 501c3 yet, if you've even started one yet, but one, because of what you're doing, I mean, you can start just like on a micro level like this, like Best Buddies did. And look at them. They are the largest nonprofit organization around the entire world for people with disabilities, not only kids, but adults also. And when I was invited to be their keynote speaker, man, before that, I went up to Orlando. And when I realized how powerful giving is from a humanitarian perspective, that's why when I became a special needs teacher, and I would come home, even in my first year as a teacher, Juan, when I had 6 different classes in 6 different rooms, I was just so fired up to be a teacher. And it was so rewarding to me that I never knew that from those days of writing to my kids every day, man, every day for about 2 years as a teacher, I wrote a journal to them. Out of those 180 days, minimum, I'm being realistic, man, almost I might have missed 10% of the school days doing it, unless something happened every day. And I had no idea that God had a plan. 30 of the best ones went in this book. I had no idea that this book would become a mainstay for me. So take your book, man. Get your butt out there, man. Because what you're telling me and what I learned about you tonight from this bio, Juan, let me tell you, I love that word, rebel with a mission. You know, and I don't know if you want to call the next book part 2 of A Thing to Do.
You know, part 2 is
proud of you, man. I'm just me and Maru. Hey, Maru, let me tell you something. He's sharing so much with us tonight. She's sitting back there. I really wish we'd have thought this too. I should have had her on this line with us tonight because she's been such a. And you know, we read the bio, man, and we saw where you thanked us in your bio.
Yes.
People who were instrumental in your life. And I want to tell you, we almost overlooked it because I was contending with so many things today. Sir, for you to acknowledge us in the group of people who've cornered your life to be, who've given you the blueprint, who've given you the foundation, I'm honored. And I thank you so much for these 51 minutes up to this moment for sharing your story because I said it, Juan, and I know the best is yet to come from you, man, because you've shown us. You've shown us against all odds, man, that is possible.
Yes.
It's possible. Nelson Mandela said it just the second time tonight. It always seemed, I'm sure, impossible until you looked up and you said, oh, wow, I got my master's degree. I'm sure it seemed impossible until you looked up and said, oh, wow, I wrote a book. I'm sure it was impossible until you looked up one day and said, wow, I'm a youth counselor. I'm sure it was impossible until Juan Morales woke up and said, I got a radio show.
Yes.
I'll tell you something, man. You're doing so many things that people are not sitting in wheelchairs won't even attempt to do. That's why I'm going to always lift you up. Listen to my friend. As I start the music to wrap it up, I'm going to say this to you tonight. You're always welcome here. There will always be a place for people who inspire, people who empower, and I'm just humble, man. Thank you so much for being with us. If once again you want to shout out your website, if you want to give a shout out before you go, you got it, man. Go right ahead.
I want to invite everybody that needs counseling to call face-to-face mental health services. I'm going to share in the comment the website, the phone number. We're always a phone call away. And as you said, kids, I used to counsel only kids, and face-to-face has kids and adults. And so now I'm able to help adults as well. And it really connects with my heart, being able to expand that message. And so a big shout out to everybody at Face-to-Face. Kenya Rodriguez, the CEO, Ibis, Cynthia, Carla, Horacio, Fernando.
Yes.
I mean, everybody there has a beautiful heart. So if it's not therapy with Juan, it's therapy with many of our talented therapists. So we invite y'all.
I got to tell Miriam to come around. Come around here, Miriam. She don't want to come. I want her to come because what you're saying, man, is so powerful. You know, you said you were just helping kids. And the next thing you know, God made a way, opened the doors to the reality of face-to-face. And let me tell you something. I went out on a limb for you too, man. And I want to follow up with you about this. Have you ever heard of NAMI, N-A-M-I?
Yes, and counseling, they're a huge organization.
Listen, NAMI, I put a plug out there. Her name is Kate. I'm doing it over the air right now. I want you to connect with them and make the partnership happen. There's another lady, her name is Rosa, and I'm so sorry I can't even call the name of her company, but she's an LMHC just like you. I'm going to give you her contact direct. I'm going to give you Kate's contact direct. And I want to say that you and I have to coordinate something where she's invited me out, they've invited me out. So we're going to coordinate something. I'm putting a shot out there right now, man. That's why I stopped my music. I didn't want to drown out what you're talking about. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being in the position that you're in. And I know something, man, that a lot of people will always say this to you. Quitting is not an option. You are that. Remember, I called you my tact man, my tenacity and the audacity to function in the capacity. You are my man. My wife's standing here. She's trying to say something to me.
I just want to say something.
Yes.
He is my angel.
Because
yes,
can you hear her?
Yes.
You are my angel because it shows people that everyone deserves to be loved. Everybody deserves to be heard. Everybody deserves to be embraced, and you done that.
No doubt.
You went out of, people don't understand that you don't have a disability. You have an ability. I hate that name. That it's an ability. We all, you know it. We all have abilities. Yours, yours is special.
No doubt.
Somebody else's is special.
Yes.
So you're my angel because you have shown the world that everybody deserves a chance.
I'm gonna say this. All angels
love you,
man. I told you she's an angel to many, and I wouldn't even begin to do anything other than she told me the day that she walked up to that class, walked out of her classroom and came up to the main office, something just sent her up to do something, because you and I both know, hadn't she came at the time that she did come, Juan, you may be sitting here, but in a different capacity based on what went down that day, that your angel, who is an angel that's calling you an angel, showed up. And the rest we know is history. We don't even have to go back there, but I say this all the time. No coincidence. I call it God incidents. You know, when I did put this hat on and I tried it on like this and said that, I said it with deep sincerity. So I wanted to give you that shout out. I didn't want to let the music drown you out. Until the next time, Juan, you and I got to stay connected, because I think we reconnected for a reason that goes far beyond you and I don't think it's no coincidence, my man. Not
it's
at
terrific. Another shout out to my mom as well. My mother. It's another angel in my life, and
that's right. Tell her I say hello too, man. Tell mommy I say hello.
Will do.
No doubt. You be blessed, man.
God bless.
Hey, you know what, man? Just keep doing what you're doing. God got big plans for you. As long as you do it, you keep them first.
God first.
I'm a living witness, man. You know, that's all I can say to you. That's all I can say. And Juan, you've been doing it. You've come a long way. So keep doing what you're doing. Hang in there with me, man. I'm going to end the stream right now. I'm going to say once again, good night to everyone. Thank you so very much for being here with me tonight. What a great night to see one of my former students become the man that nobody ever would imagine. The author, the speaker, the counselor, the teacher, the motivator, the inspiring man that he is. And even though he's called himself a rebel in a wheelchair, and that book is on Amazon.com, Juan Morales, man, let me tell you something. You keep being an inspiration, because God got big plans for you. See you later, my man. Be blessed. I thank you so much for being here. And like I said, like my wife just said, you're an angel to many, man. You have